Yo, what's up, everyone? Back for this Sunday slate. It is the final day before the All-Star break, so after today, no baseball until Thursday. There's a one-game slate, and then Friday is where the night slate starts. So if you guys all have a good break after today. Might post some WNBA if I want to pass the time on this channel, but other than that, I hope you guys all have a great break. Take some time off DFS, do whatever you have to do. Let's get right into these picks, though. Try to make the most of it. You can drop a like and subscribe down below. You can visit the website, links in description, if you want to join for baseball or for NFL. So spots are filling up pretty quick for NFL if you want to get in for that. And yesterday, able to make out on the early slate on DraftKings and missed out on the main slate. So let's try to end the first half of the season on a strong note. Today at pitcher, there are a bunch of great arms. Charlie Morton at 11-3 facing the Yankees. Tough matchup, not for cash, maybe for GPPs. Corbin is facing the Royals. I like him quite a bit. I like Aaron Nola a lot at 10-6. I'd rather play Aaron Nola than Zach Wheeler, but he's still in consideration. Trevor Bauer is down here at 10,000. I think that's a good spot. If you look at the price tag on Bauer, he's only 10,000. Price tag took a nice big hit. He hasn't been great as of late, but I still think he has the upside. I'm just going to roll with Aaron Nola here just because he's been looking the best pitcher, and he has a pretty good matchup. I don't think you can go wrong with Trevor Bauer, just a little below him, but I feel pretty confident that Aaron Nola is back into his Cy Young form. Last season, he finished third in the Cy Young. This season, he started off this season pretty rough, but he's really been dominant as of late. 8+ innings in 2 out of his last 3, 7+ in 3 straight. Just been so consistent over the past couple starts, and he just put up a huge game against these Mets. Their lineup is not tremendous. They still struggle, and Nola is still decent against lefties and righties, even though the Mets do have some lefties in there. And it's a good ballpark to pitch in, so I like Aaron Nola a lot at 10-6. And the second pitcher I like is just way too cheap here. Whatever pitcher you pay up for, I think you're going to want to pair him with Trent Thornton in at least cash games. Even in GPPs, I think Trent Thornton his price tag makes for a tough fade at only $5,000. I don't know why his price tag is so cheap here. He's never been this cheap. He's always been like 75, 74. He was $8,000 once. So his price tag took a big hit just dramatically. Last start he struggled against the Red Sox, which most pitchers are going to struggle against the Red Sox offense, but now he gets a great matchup against Baltimore, who at home, he's been pretty good this season at home. And the Orioles have one of the lower totals on the slate, a 4.6 total. Trent Thornton he has decent strikeout stuff, averaging over a strikeout per inning. Even if he gives up a few runs, I think he can make up for it with the strikeouts, and he's also heavily favored here. $5,000 just seems too cheap for an SP2 pitcher that has 20-point upside. So even 25-point upside, he put up 27 against the Astros, so he's just too cheap here. So today for stacks, there are a couple of teams that I really want to stack. I like the Cubs stack a ton against Nova. I like the Blue Jays a little bit here. The Blue Jays stack has let a lot of people down the past couple days, but that's mainly because they haven't been able to get into the Orioles bullpen, which is their huge weakness. They faced Cashner and Bundy, and they kind of both went like 6+ innings, maybe 7 innings, and they didn't really get a chance to get into the bullpen. But today with Asher Wojnarowski, they should be able to get to the bullpen early because he's not good at all. And if they do, I think they can score some runs. So I like the Blue Jays, and I like the Twins a lot. Love the Twins, especially against Palumbo, who is just terrible, a lefty facing a lot of these righties from the Twins. They are so good against left-handed pitching and just pitching in general. Those are my top 3 stacks on the board. All right, so at first base here, I'm going to go with my man Anthony Rizzo today. He is 4,800. He's expensive, but he's been playing so well. I think he's going to end it on a good note here. In Chicago, he's been great against right-handed pitching. Ivan Nova just gives up so much contact and just gives up such a high slugging percentage, such a high batting average that I think Ivan Nova is going to have a pretty bad game here against these Cubs. Against lefties, he's given up a 5.61 slugging and a 3.30 average. Nova's been terrible at home, where he has an 8.31 ERA and a 6.11 slugging. And it's supposed to be really good hitting conditions today, and this ballpark does play up power. So I feel like Rizzo's in a good spot here. If you look at Rizzo's numbers, he plays every day, which does lower his batting average when he faces lefties because he's not great against lefties at all. But when he's facing a righty, he is in a really good spot most of the time. And this season, he's been crushing righties to a tune of a 295 average and 16 bombs. Ton of power with him. He has a 43% hard hit rate, 37% fly ball rate, and he has a 270 ISO. So I like the spot a lot for Anthony Rizzo at first base. Next up at third base, I'm going to go with my cheap guy and Marwin Gonzalez. Just too cheap here facing Leclerc, and then going to get to face Palumbo. He's been good after he got off to a terrible start to the season where he batted like 164. He's really turned it around. Gonzalez is really good against left-handed pitching, and he should get a face a lefty at least a couple of at-bats. He might not even get a face Leclerc if he only goes one inning. But anyway, Marwin Gonzalez facing a lefty and Palumbo for most of his at-bats should be able to do some damage there. He has a 328 average against left-handed pitching this season, and he's been good at home. And against lefties, he has a solid 194 ISO, a 522 slugging percentage, only a 17% K rate. And he has a 45% hard hit rate, just doesn't hit the ball. He hits the ball pretty hard, only a 7.3% soft contact rate. I like the spot a lot for Marwin Gonzalez. He's always cheap, and he's really flashed the power. And like I said, he really turned up after he got off to a terrible start. He batted 167 in the first month. Then he batted 299, 277. And so far, he's batting a cool 500 here in July. Like him a lot here against... we don't even have to look at the pitcher. I know he's bad. So I like Gonzalez a lot at 3,400. In the outfields, I'm going to go with Nelson Cruz. Cruz has just been amazing. This guy just doesn't seem to age. He just has a ton of power. He missed a good chunk of time too, and he's already still up to 16 bombs and over 40 RBIs. Nelson Cruz against left-handed pitching has been one of the better locks in DFS and just fantasy over the past, since he's been in the league. It's not really changed this season. He's still done a lot of his damage against lefties. 5 home runs this season and just 53 at-bats. That gives him a 340 ISO and a 604 slugging percentage. And career-wise, he's just so good against lefties. 290 career average with a career 40% hard hit rate, almost a 40% fly ball rate, and he has a 262 career ISO. Just an insane amount of power for him. And we will look at the pitcher just to see how bad he's been for his career. Palum. So, looks like this is his first season in the big leagues. He's not a top prospect. He was picked 30th in the 30th round. And he's been, so far, it's a super small sample size, so, you can take it with a grain of salt, but he's given up 3 home runs already. Both sides of the plate have a 400 average and a really high fly ball rate to lefties, hard hit rate. You can't take much out of this because it's such a small sample size, but I don't think he's going to fare well against all these tremendous righties on the Twins. So I like Cruz, I like Marwin, and then last but not least, I think that the Blue Jays might score some good amount of runs today, and I do think Cavan Biggio's in a good spot at 4,700. He has a lot of power here. Facing Asher Wojnarowski, he is been getting crushed against left-handed hitting. If you look at the numbers for him, lefties have a 333 average and a 667 slugging percentage off of him this season. It's only a small sample size, so if you look at his career numbers, which gives you a much bigger sample size with 205 batters faced, 331 average against lefties with a 642 slugging percentage. Lefties have almost a 50% fly ball rate, 35% hard hit rate. Cavan Biggio has just an insane amount of power. He's already his ISO against right-handed pitching is, I believe it's over 300. And he's getting better and better after he struggled the first couple weeks since he was a pro. He's been good against he's been much better against lefties, but all of his home runs have come against righties. He has a really good 289 ISO, He does strike out quite a bit, but Wojnarowski's not much of a strikeout guy, so that's a good sign. I think he'll be able to put the ball in play here. And he just hits the ball so hard against right-handed pitching. So far, it's just a 2% soft contact rate, 55% hard hit rate, to go with a 60% fly ball rate. Some of the better numbers you will see in the fly ball and hard hit category. So, Cavan Biggio, I think he can go yard today. I like him quite a bit at 4,700. So those are the 6 players that I like. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can drop a like if you enjoyed, and you can visit the website if you want to join for any sport that's coming up. And like I said, those are the 3 teams I really want to stack: the Blue Jays, the Cubs, and the Twins. If you want to mess around with some other stacks, I think you can look at some of the Astros here. So all the Astros righties are my main interest, just because they're really good against left-handed pitching. Springer, Bregman, Altuve are my top 3. Even Yuli Gurriel, just because he's on fire with the home runs and you want to ride hot streaks in baseball. That's like one of the best pieces of advice I can give you if you're struggling in baseball. Just ride the hot streaks with guys that are in good spots. Like, guys tend to stay hot in baseball, and guys tend to stay cold in baseball longer than any other sport. So I like the Astros a little bit. The Twins are going to be rolling out Kyle Gibson for a couple innings, and then they're going to go with a bullpen game. So again, I think you can look at some of the Rangers just because they might be lower owned, just because people will think Gibson's going to be pitching the whole game. I love a lot of the Cubs, Schwarber in particular. Why is Jason Hayward 4,800 and why is Kyle Schwarber 4,300? That makes absolutely no sense. One leads off for the team, and one notoriously has much more power, but he still continues to be underpriced by $500. This doesn't make a lot of sense. The Nationals, I think, are a little interesting. They are a little pricey and not going to be like a priority stack, but against Junis does give up some home runs. Some like guys like Soto and Rendon and Turner and Adams, and they make for great plays. Here, the Pirates, whenever you play the Pirates, it seems like they score 0 runs or they score like 10-plus runs. Facing Anderson, I think you can play some of them just because Anderson's not a tremendous pitcher, lights-out pitcher. We still got cheap guys like Colin Moran's on fire, and he's only 3,900. Newman's a good hitter. If Dickerson's in the lineup, I like him at only 4,100. And if you want to pay up for Marte, that doesn't hurt, or Bell either. So I like the Pirates a little bit. And that's kind of it. I'm not going to be that high on the Braves today. I think Richards is a good pitcher with his changeup. And I think the Red Sox, you can go with them. We don't really know who's starting for the Tigers. It's not going to be Soto, but whoever's starting for the Tigers, I assume, is not going to be good, so you can go with him. Some lefties from the Indians also make sense, and that rounds out the day. So all in all, those are my picks for today. Hope you enjoyed, and